This episode of the Boss Rush Podcast is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I am one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, is PC Muscle Race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Yo, what's poppin'?
He had to change his shirt. He was getting too hot.
Yeah, I got to, he was in the background.
Too toasty.
Too hot to hand. Anyway. Also, joining us is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Cheers, friends. How are you?
Wonderful.
By the way, let me just go ahead and say this real quickly. That freaking gaming chair you have is fucking svelte. That is so nice. I like it.
It's fun. I love it.
Was it actually comfortable? Like, because I know some of them aren't comfortable.
Way more comfortable than my 15-year-old office chair.
Yeah.
You know what's wild about that? Like, it's actually been confirmed that every gaming chair is like the worst for ergonomics and back and lumbar support and all that shit.
Of course it is.
Yeah, I know.
Is.
Like, it's a big fucking racket.
All right. I'll pretend I didn't hear that.
I mean, I have a pretty beast ass. I have a hoodie hanging over the back of it, but I have a pretty beast ass fucking gaming chair too. And I also know this is why I have terribly tight hip flexors. My ass is always in the chair.
All right. For After Dark, we're going to talk about LeRon's hip flexors.
Speaking of ass in the chair, returning is the wise Wisconsinite, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
How's it going, everyone?
His ass is in the chair.
Yep.
Yep.
I think it is.
His much smaller ass is in the chair.
I know. We have a very special guest tonight as well. You know him. You love him. He has thousands of subscribers on YouTube, which makes me jealous. But also, he puts a lot more work into YouTube than we do. So, yeah. Dan Colona, aka Dan O'Mac.
Hello.
Yay!
Hi. I'm not. My ass is not in any chair. I'm actually
Are
standing.
you at a standing desk?
I'm standing like
Show
some
off.
kind of maniac. I don't know what it is. Whenever I do things like this, I have to stand now.
I need to invest in one of those. Probably when I move out of here and get my own office space,
Yeah.
I will get myself a stand
I
desk.
I couldn't afford a standing desk, so what I did is, and I saw someone sell it on Facebook Marketplace. It's like this thing where you put on your desk and you can raise and lower
Yes.
it, and that's what I have.
Yeah.
I
Those
might
are
do
good
that.
in between. They're a solid choice. Thank you for the nice intro. That whole subscriber thing. I have one YouTube short that did all that.
Doesn't matter.
So
For real.
I know. I'm just saying. My is play with YouTube Shorts. Just do it.
Hold on.
It's good to experiment with.
What's,
You'll figure. Yeah, it's one. I unboxed a Nintendo Switch.
Ooh.
That's it.
What the fuck?
That's it. I got a Switch and I was like, well, I wasted all this cash on it. I might as well.
Okay,
then,
you know what? I have an in then, because you know what? I was just telling myself how insane Nintendo fans are, Zelda fans are, and Kingdom Hearts fans are. So
What if
I
we're all
have an
three?
in now.
Yeah. Well, when you buy something ridiculous and you can't justify it, make a short
Unbox.
out of opening it. And there's just.
I do not. And that's the
Unbox
crazy
the cloud
part.
versions of Kingdom Hearts on Switch.
If you actually made that, I bet it would at least get somebody to what, and then open it.
Or I was going to say you unbox a Switch dressed as Zelda with a Keyblade to cut it open.
The crazy part about it is I cannot stand unboxing videos. I feel like they are the biggest waste of freaking time.
They
but
are.
You know what? If that's gonna give me 7,000 views, because I think the thing is 7,000 views, and you instantly get monetized with shorts.
Something like that. I gotta do, but either way, they're fun to make if you can make them fun. So that's my.
To be fair, at work we do some unboxing videos, and they're the best things we do at work, and they're not even part of our business. So
Interesting. People just like seeing stuff get revealed, even though they know what's inside. It's like weird.
My boss unboxed the
fetish.
desktop Mac Pro, like the little box one that when the M1s came out, and it's been our best video ever on that channel. So
people like the tour. You're like, oh, look at the ports. I'm like,
yeah.
And then on the video, isn't people like saying most of it's people telling me how it's not an OLED because I didn't get the white model because they just.
But the OLED comes with a neon model.
Yeah, it's right there.
And it's
People are silly.
I know, but it's just funny that nobody there doesn't have a Switch, which also blows my mind because you would think that unboxings would be appealing to people who don't have the thing. But
do me a favor in the chat. Send me a link to your YouTube channel. I'm gonna give you an extra view on that short.
Oh,
I just want to see the magic because I'm trying to really beef up. I'm trying to really beef up my my YouTube presence. Like I would love to get like monetized this year. As a matter of fact, I would love to get monetized before my birthday in June.
You can do it. It takes time. I'm not yet.
Because I feel like all the stuff I do for Crossroads and stuff like this is what I should be doing. Like I should make shorts. The only problem is I feel like I just do not have enough time in the day. And I took on an extra project, which I'm not bitching about. I'm not bitching about.
Whose fault's that?
Well, what is the? I want to hear about what is it? Secret?
No, it's not. It's not secret. It's not secret. Like Corey might launch himself, through the internet at me when I say it though.
What are you talking about?
Stephanie and I are doing a spoiler cast recap of The Last of Us as the episodes come out.
I told you I didn't care about that. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't care about The Last of Us.
As a matter of fact, the first episode went live today on my YouTube channel at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the audio version is available also over on. Oh, you just look up Anchor Crossroads. Just go to Anchor and look up Crossroads.
It's anchor.fm/Exodus 803 podcasts.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Corey created that for me. So yeah. Thank you, Corey.
It's not /Crossroads because I did it just in case you wanted to put your Monster Hunter show on there.
Yeah, which the Monster Hunter show will be coming back.
Ooh,
you've been saying that for a while now. I'm excited.
I have.
Maybe Stephanie will be on that too.
No,
you guys can talk about Monster Hunter.
3.7 million views. Oh man!
All I did was open the stupid Switch that I was like, why did I buy this? My old Switch only had a buzzing fan. That's the only thing that was wrong with it. I was like, this is too much for me. Yeah.
We could have another short to see whose Switch is louder.
I gave mine back. They took it back and they were like, is there anything wrong with it? I was like, no. And they were like, all right, cool. Here's your discount. Have a good day. It worked. Turned on and loaded a game. So
I swear, my YouTube channel is just going to become a copycat channel. I'm just going to copy everything that I see that's making shit happen.
You want to know what the famous artist Pablo Picasso said?
What?
Every great artist copied someone else and just got noticed.
I mean, that's why I always ask you for assets, even though I've been kind of like laying off.
The difference will always be the creator who made it, because no one is ever going to be you, and no one has ever been you.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
you can make it a Switch unboxing, and it'd be totally your thing because I didn't make it.
Zen Master logic right there.
Right.
LeRon, if you did it with your shirt off, I bet it would get 10,000 views.
Copyright problems there.
Just put Band-Aids over your nipples.
No, I don't know about copyright. Then again, if those guys can always do it with freaking. Well, the problem is those guys that are like, they're like buff and into fitness and stuff. They can get away with that, but like I'm kind of pudgy right now, so no, like yeah.
People will be there for it.
I'll get an email from Google saying, yeah, you got a copyright strike just because you don't look good. It says the guy who got like 60 something likes on that picture I put up yesterday.
Well, stop posting naked pictures, LeRon.
I was not naked.
my video that's got the most views on my YouTube is a meteor that went over my town.
Oh my gosh!
It's not even my video. It's not even my video. I had found it on a website. Someone had recorded it, and then I uploaded it on my YouTube, and it's got 8.2K views.
That's awesome. What was it like being near a meteor? Like, did you see it close enough to like?
Yeah, well, I did. Yeah, I mean, you could see like the flashing of it kind of in the sky for the most part for a little while.
That's cool.
But yeah, like because I had seen it, but I didn't actually get a chance to to record it,
Mhm.
and so then I was just literally looking around online trying to see if anyone got a recording of it, and then I found it, and yeah, I couldn't find any on of a video of it on YouTube, so then that's why I uploaded it, so then I could have it there to
That's
be able
awesome.
to watch it
Yo,
whenever. So.
If that happened
okay.
here, people would just run. I'm in New York, and it would not go well.
So I just looked at that. I just looked at a video that not a video. The picture that Corey accused me of being naked on. It's got over 1,000 views.
Solid.
Thirsty ass people.
Well, some people
Maybe I could make that work to my advantage on YouTube.
telling you,
Even if it's like tank top,
just
like
market it's not for kids.
like a stringer tank top. A string,
Yeah.
yeah.
you can be
stringer tank
tasteful
top
about
would-
it. There's plenty of ways
yeah.
to be tasteful.
Yeah, like when I turn a certain way, nip jumps out for a second.
If you did like buff person unboxes stuff and like you just
I'm
do
not
poses
buff
where
is the problem.
no, but you do poses where it's like you like, oh, check out this controller and like like you flex and like, oh, I'm unboxing this, and then you like do like really like obviously flexing moves to do like stupid things.
And then have the anime girl sex noise. It's like,
Yeah.
stuff like
We could talk about Ubisoft and other news items while you like yeah. There's always a way to
No,
make
you could say
something fun
we
for
could talk
yourself.
about Xbox and just make the X's little black tape.
no.
Yeah, I'm telling you, good work. If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.
Recording.
Earlier when you said you know him about me, I was like, that sounds like the trailer to like a Wanted sequel. I appreciated the intensity. You know
All
him.
right.
Zencaster is not okay with me tonight. Sorry.
It's not okay with anybody.
Good news. I'm standing now. Dan, you've inspired me.
You're gonna make this a fully standing podcast before I'm done.
I can't stand. I have nothing left to put my camera on.
I thought
To
you were
make it
gonna
go
say I have
higher.
nothing left like in my body today.
I don't
It's
have
going
that.
to a much darker place.
I mean, I
It's like,
don't have that either, but
Okay, that's fair.
we are recording After Dark after this. Maybe we'll explore that topic when we get there. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of dark topics, there's a lot of sad news going around this week. So one of my topics kind of revolves around that. Ubisoft's financial report and potential impact, downfall, and the sale of the company is my topic. Ubisoft seems to be in some sort of trouble, as many sources have predicted. In a recent article from Paul Tassi over at Forbes, I like that guy. He only lives about 3 hours from me.
Stalker.
No, he makes it. He lives in Cincinnati, and I live in Akron. He knows. He knows.
He knows.
Hi, Paul.
Call me Paul.
You see me peeking through your window. No, I'm just kidding.
Creep.
I know. In a recent article from Paul Tassi, the video games and entertainment beat writer over at Forbes, among many others, Ubisoft has stated that, among other things, Mario plus Rabbids has underperformed. So is Just Dance. They delayed the shipwreck that is known as Skull and Bones yet again, and totally canceled 3 unannounced games. This brings the total number of canceled games to 7 in just the last 12 months. I clicked on I put a link to an article in here. It's extremely in depth. Game Informer has a simpler article to follow along if you want to look at that. But I mean, Ubisoft's kind of a mess right now.
Isn't Ubisoft one of the companies that have been kind of hinting or positioning themselves to try and be bought out, or am I thinking
No,
of
they
someone
have
else?
been. The Guillemot family has been trying to sell the company for a while now.
All right, I mean, not that this is necessarily related,
It
but
actually is pretty
I'm
related
honest.
because they're going to restructure the company so they're more appealing to buy.
I meant more like not related to the actual have what the sales. I mean, it's timely.
Yeah.
I just more meant. I mean, I'm a little disappointed to hear that the Sparks of Hope
Right.
underperformed. I don't know if it's necessarily a surprise because that was marketed so heavily. I would see it on every single freaking Nintendo Direct for like a year before it's released, almost to the point where I'm like, I don't want to see another trailer
Mhm.
for it. And I did play it and I liked it. It's a good
Yeah.
game.
But here's the thing: Ubisoft games go on sale very quickly after they come out. And
Mhm.
remember how fast that game was $20 after it came out, the first one?
And then it yo-yoed back and forth from between $20, $60, $40, $20, $60,
Yeah,
I
$40.
but
see.
you could for about right after Christmas, you could get a brand new copy of that game on Amazon for 20
Right.
bucks.
And that sale was there for a while. Like
Yeah.
that was every time I saw it, I was like, "Is
Mhm.
that just the game's MSRP now?" Like
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
really low.
Yeah, because the price went back up when they added like the expansions or something like
Mm.
that. I think, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like because they
Yeah.
had all those things that they're gonna add to it.
Yeah.
When did that game release actually?
October.
Like right,
It
yeah,
released
right
in
before the
October.
holidays.
Okay, so because we kind of touched on this last night on Crossroads when we were talking about the Callisto Protocol, because Callisto Protocol also underperformed, apparently. But like they were wanting to have 5 million units shipped, like sold, and like the game's only been out literally a month and 15 days, so 45 days now, right? Um,
Mhm.
and they apparently wanted 5 million copies, after launch and stuff like that, which I hate to say this, but only certain titles can be guaranteed that type of numbers, at the beginning of its life cycle. Like I'm looking at the Zeldas, I'm looking at the Kingdom Hearts, I'm
Mhm.
looking at not even Mario gets that, in my opinion. Fan favorite games get that stuff. So like we're looking at World of Warcrafts, Halo doesn't do that anymore. I don't think Halo's ever done that.
Yeah, it's actually been like the indie sleeper hits, like your Cult of the Lambs, your
But
Strays.
Yes.
but they get their numbers. They get
Tunic.
their numbers proportionately though. Like
Right.
I don't think any of those games have hit like 5 million like right out the gate. But based on their budget and stuff, like they
Right.
get a good return on investment. Plus, like they're affordable and stuff like that. Like I.
I feel like indies get that attention, and then AAA looks at it and thinks gaming. I mean, gaming is still huge, but like to get like even God of War, like I feel like that was also like a quiet release. Like everyone got it, and they were like, "Oh, it's good. It's God of War Ragnarok is
Yeah.
what we wanted," and that's great. But also the scaling isn't the same, so if it doesn't blow expectations out of the water, it's
Mm-hmm.
considered a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
and also I think what a lot of these like the publishers and the investment and the investors and the shareholders and stuff. I think the major thing that they are not taking into account in all this stuff is that sometimes we see these games and they have like these wicked ass numbers and they don't realize this is a lifetime sales number. I mean Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak just surpassed 5 million. That's just an expansion game. The base game itself has sold over 10 million units. So like 50%, there's a 50%, absorption rate for the expansion, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that game came out June of last year. So like in 6 months time, like it made 5 million copies. And I think honestly, like expectations need to be tempered somewhere around there because
yeah,
like these games are gonna make them if they're worried about the games like making all these numbers at $70, they need to do something different.
Yeah, and I think with Callisto Protocol, I think it's just they were relying too much on the fact of it being the creators of Dead Space, like the right.
That's one
I
thing.
think
That's one
I
thing.
think it was that they were thinking that it would be an instant hit just because of a name attached to it, but you can't always. And I mean,
That's true.
like we're talking about like indies, you also have a lower entry level to get those games. So like, like and Switch is still, a major place for getting, those cheaper like indie games and stuff too. And that's, I mean, a lot of people have Switches at this point, so
Yeah. Plus, like,
multiple Switches.
Then again,
on top.
the Switch numbers are very inflated too, though. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, because like one person having multiple systems, like that
Mhm.
that I'm surprised Nintendo doesn't also think this way. Like, oh, we've got 17 trillion systems sold. Why don't we have more than a 50% or return on investment when the games come out? I'm
Yeah.
surprised they don't think like that. But they probably know their customer base. Though they know, like, there's avid people who have like 9 different Switches on their wall, in their
Yeah.
closet and shit.
And it was the same with the PS4, like there was a lot of them, but people had multiple PS4s, and you had the Pro coming
The average
out.
person, if I'm not mistaken, probably had 2 PS4s. Like 2 actual functional PS4s.
Yeah.
One being a collector's,
Yeah.
one being a collector's edition, and one being just a throwaway system.
Or
Stuff like that.
somebody had a launch PS4 and then upgraded to the Pro.
To the
My
Pro,
launch PS4
exactly.
is still running smooth as a
My launch PS4,
smooth
like
running car.
every now and then, my launch PS4 decides it's just going to spit a disc out, whether it's turned on or off.
I mean,
Maybe that's how you should judge your games.
It was
If
the
it
same
goes,
way.
so it's not going to be good.
It was the same way with the Xbox One, though, right? I mean, a lot of people bought that launch Xbox One, and then either when that One S or the One X came out, people upgraded. So
and then you had the 360 with the red ring attached. So people I've got like six 360s.
Yeah.
I'll never forget people telling me to wrap mine in a towel. I was like,
I remember that.
Remember the rice? Remember the rice?
Yeah.
Oh, you stick your drowned electronics in rice.
Yeah.
And hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think we've all been guilty of.
So,
but the circle is, but the ring is back in on Sparks of Hope, though. Like, I think the major problem here, and I think this is more on Ubisoft than anybody else. I think the problem is Ubisoft thinks all their games are gonna fucking sell. I think that's really what they think, because like look at the Assassin's Creeds. They get so butthurt when Assassin's Creed doesn't do what it's supposed to do. They get so butthurt when Far Cry doesn't do what it's supposed to do. They get so butthurt, what's their other big franchise right now? Oh, The Division,
Rainbow Six. Yeah, The Division 2
Yep.
underperformed. Remember, Jesse? Remember when we were talking about The Division 2 and how excited we were, and then we just decided that we didn't really want more Division because that game was exactly the same.
Yeah. I mean,
and then,
really, the only good part about the second one was playing multiplayer.
Yeah.
And they don't have that going.
Let me name you the Switch games that came out within, I'll say, 5 weeks of Sparks of Hope. We had Splatoon 3, we had Tunic, we had Overwatch 2, Nier Automata, No Man's Sky, and these are all games that people were excited for on the Switch. Some are warranted, some are not. But
honestly, just the first party title Splatoon probably just like annihilated Sparks of Hope.
Bayonetta 3, Persona 5. And then when you get into November, you had 2 Pokemon games, right? Sifu, Sonic Frontiers. So I mean, Tactics Ogre Reborn. Those are all games that came out within 5 weeks either way of Mario plus Rabbids.
I know this isn't Pow Block, but I'm interested to see how good Bayonetta 3 did, because I honestly didn't even know it had come out. And I went to the store. I'm like, oh wait, that's out.
People loved
it. I didn't even know it was out. I didn't see anything.
Funny you should say that. You should stay tuned for Pow Block Expansion Pass when we go over the monthly financials of Nintendo Switch games.
Yeah,
I might
apparently
have.
Bayonetta did pretty good.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I didn't even know
Well,
it
no,
came
no,
out.
no, no. Bayonetta has a very nice fan base on the Switch.
Mhm.
Like it's amazing. It's amazing to think what it really could have done if it was outside. It was outside of one console. It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
and this is a game they thought was a failure because like it didn't sell. It didn't sell 2 million copies between both the 360 and the PS3, the original game.
I have to
Uh,
check. I don't
The
have that.
original game was on
Yeah,
360 and PS3.
yeah. I feel like I probably lowballed that number,
Mhm.
but
It
Sega
sold.
basically was.
We had that
Hmm?
conversation. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we had that
No, no.
conversation a couple weeks ago on Pal Block about Bayonetta 1 and how it underperformed when it came out. It sold less than 400,000 copies.
Oh, okay. Wow,
Yeah.
but
And
but honestly, that's also a time when gaming. I want to say like it wasn't until we got like waist deep in the Xbox 360 and PS3 era that
mhm,
suddenly like gaming became like the
yeah.
mega shark that it is.
Yeah. Bayonetta 1 and 2 didn't sell over 1 million copies until they both came to Switch.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's crazy to me to think that that's where the
Well, I
fan
know.
base was like, this is the console for us. When it
Wait,
like
wait,
Bayonetta
wait.
screams Devil May Cry and PlayStation era hack
Yeah.
and slash.
The
Mhm.
thing too is like Bayonetta 1, I know people love that character and that franchise, but Bayonetta 1 wasn't great. Like it wasn't that good, especially when you had Devil May Cry out at that time.
Yeah.
And
You know what?
Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 were both were out, right? Like Sigma had just come out on PS3 and Ninja Gaiden 2 had come out on Xbox 360. Like they were much better stylized action games than Bayonetta.
As a former Devil May Cry fan, I I did not like the fuckery they were doing with Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry 1 in my opinion was a masterpiece. Devil May
Mhm.
Cry 2 comes out and it's like what? You know? Devil May Cry 3 happens like return to form, Devil May Cry 4 comes out and it's like okay, we got Metal Gear Solid 2 all of a sudden because we're playing half the game with a character we didn't even want, and then the trickery was like we get Dante and then we have to play the game in reverse with Dante and go back to the beginning and it's like
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on here? Devil May Cry 5 is amazing, but and it's like
DMC
y'all
is
can't.
really good though.
Yeah,
Deathly
that's
Food?
my
Yeah,
favorite.
DMC Devil May Cry, yeah, and that's the one that wasn't done by any of the original team.
Nope.
Yeah.
Ninja Theory did that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
It was so
and yeah,
good.
so by the time when Bayonetta came out, I was like, Bayonetta is like what Devil May Cry should have been the whole fucking time.
Mhm. Well, a couple years ago, there was a rumor that there was going to be a Devil May Cry versus Bayonetta game at some
Yeah.
point.
That's over.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
But
yeah, that would have been fucking awesome.
yeah, but I mean now Nintendo Platinum pretty much came out and said that if Nintendo doesn't fund Bayonetta, it's not coming out. So
Jeez.
And that's Platinum, and that's Platinum's fault.
yeah, it's all right. The new rumor now is that Platinum's working on Scalebound for Xbox.
How?
I don't know.
Oh, you know what? Microsoft needs a property.
Microsoft needs a lot of things. Clearly, they didn't need like a third of their employees, but
Oh shit.
sorry, I know that's really insensitive to all the people that just lost their jobs, and I feel really bad. But it always sucks when people go through restructures. But yeah, I mean, that Halo team got hit pretty hard though.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy to see that happen. Like this is where I learned about it too, like with y'all tonight, and I was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah,
Like-
it just came out like this afternoon that
Mhm.
almost the entire campaign team got pink slipped.
And Bethesda. So
Yeah,
right
Well,
before
I
the
think what's
year that they're
happening.
supposed to
I
be
think what's
recording.
happening.
Wait, Bethesda got hit too?
Yeah,
Well,
it's a lot of their
Ooh.
PR team, and I think that Xbox and Bethesda are merging their PR teams, and there's a lot of redundancy.
okay, fair.
Um,
Weird to see Bethesda be touched at all the year that you got space game coming out. I forget what it's
Yeah.
called.
Oh yeah, the space game team got
Starfield.
hit too, though,
Damn.
Right. So like,
which might lead to speculation of those
Right.
rumors that it might get delayed again.
That might get delayed.
mean,
Yeah, I
Which is
saw
probably
that.
why it's not part of the showcase coming up.
Well, no, I don't
What,
think it was.
next week?
I think it was never initially supposed
What's
to be
it
part of the
called?
showcase.
I know,
What's
but
this-
they got in front of it
Oh.
and said that that's not going to be in the showcase, and
Yeah,
then
you're right.
rumors started floating around that it's gonna
Starfield.
Yeah,
You said all this time like
We
trying
were
to
all
remember
calling
the
it
name was.
Space Game, and I was like, nah.
Space
Space
Game.
Space Game's better.
I mean, it's appropriate.
I mean, Google knew what I meant. I said Space Game Bethesda to Google, and it was like,
Google knew what I meant.
it was the saddest return. He was like, it's Starfield.
Idiot.
Please.
Google issues first insult.
Yeah, the AI is getting too strong.
Oh man. Speaking of AI, we talked a lot about ChatGPT today at work.
Mhm.
It's
Oh yeah.
interesting platform. So yeah, anyways, back to Ubisoft. Like this is all nuts. Like they have
Ubisoft is boneheading shit.
what?
Ubisoft is just boneheading a whole bunch of shit lately.
Well, that they want every game to be a game as a service, and they went in and said that. They said that we've prepared our franchises to be long-lasting service games. And I mean, you kind of see that with Assassin's Creed. I mean, they're what their next game is basically a game as a service.
Mm-hmm.
Valhalla wasn't a game as a service, but they released like season passes every 5 seconds. You know, The Division, Rainbow Six, X Defiant is another one that's not out yet, but is that Ghost Recon game that they canceled last year.
Well, don't forget Just
It
Dance.
was
I
a
mean,
game as
come
a
on.
service. You had to have a monthly subscription to play all the songs.
I didn't know that.
Well, you
Yeah,
still
that's what I'm
do.
saying.
And it's
Oh, I thought you
ridiculous.
said it in
No.
the past. No, I know. I only make fun of it because I had that one time where I actually did buy a Just Dance, but it was just because I was having like teenage girl
Mm.
well, I wasn't okay. That just sounded weird coming out of my mouth. I had like
I had a teenage
friends
girl
who had
over.
teenage kids. No, that sounds horrible. No, it's not what I meant.
Wow.
Nobody clip that
No,
out from
what-
either of us, please.
No, it's not what I meant. I had God, the guy that I dated had teenage daughters. I'm like, what do I do to entertain Gen Z teens? I'm like, oh, Just Dance, this stupid shit, because it's like, I don't know, dancing, and they do dancing on the TikTok. So I caught it Just Dance, and they never
Gosh, you
played
sound
it,
like a
and I was
grandma.
stuck with this stupid Just Dance game, and I couldn't even play all the songs. Like, oh, you have to have a monthly subscription to
such
get
a
all these
bummer.
songs. I'm like, this
Could you imagine
sucks.
that Christmas morning where someone who wants to dance really bad, like the kids are so excited, like, oh, well, we need you to sign up for Netflix, but like 3 times the cost for one
Yeah.
game, please. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, we're not doing that.
Just want to dance.
Just want to dance in the title, and they're not even letting it happen.
Man. It's like the Footloose of video games. Kevin Bacon is on the screen. Hi, I'm Kevin Bacon.
Forgot
We know
about
you want to dance, but you need a nasty white t-shirt, some ugly jeans, and no music.
for a low cost of $30 a month. You too can enjoy this experience.
Title of the episode, by the way, Footloose of gaming.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. I know we talked a lot about it on Power Block the other night, but the Ubisoft situation is just really dire. The other thing too is the potential buyer is Tencent.
You hate to see it.
Or the Saudi Family Carnage Fund. I don't know what it's called, but might as well be called that.
When it comes to Ubisoft, weren't they just in the news for that Star Wars game, or is that a different company?
Yeah, they're making it those are the other 2 game as a service games they're making. They're making a Star Wars game as a service, and they're making an Avatar game as a service.
It's weird because they've been in the news from my perspective for things that look at all the cool things that are coming down the pipe from us.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, all right, Ubisoft, please,
Well, they're not
like
gonna,
I get it.
I mean, to be fair, they're not going to go out on social media and be like, "Hey, we suck right now," you know.
Yeah.
I agree, and
That's
I
true.
understand that, but it's
Well,
just
and they
funny
do.
that's yeah.
They do have a lot of great things, but yeah, like that's kind of what makes this a bummer for me is like, you know, like I love Siege, and there's, you know, they have a lot of games that I love, and it's
Me
it's
too.
a bummer to see them be, you know, at risk
Yeah.
of, you know,
I really
having
like
to maybe
Ubisoft
sell
games.
off some of those.
I don't know how I feel about Ubisoft. I feel like they. I don't know. I feel like they. You know what? I know exactly where like I fell out of love with Ubisoft. It was with the Assassin's Creed Unity fiasco.
Yeah, well, I didn't
That
play.
Mm.
I didn't play
and the
Unity.
photo. Uh huh.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was gonna say that and the Photoshop Watch Dogs 1 at E3.
Oh God. You know where I played Watch Dogs 1, LeRon?
Where?
The Wii U.
Wow.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. What?
Sounds like a weird trivia question that nobody would have gotten correct.
What have you not played on
I know,
Wii U?
right?
Let's see. I pretty much played everything on the Wii U, but mostly because of PAL Block, to be honest.
Did you play the Call of Duty games?
did.
Didn't they have a Call of Duty? Yeah,
I had
that's right.
Black Ops and Ghosts on Wii U.
That's right. I remember you saying
I mean,
that.
it's a great console.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I still have mine.
That's what I said. See, I'm not the only one that thinks it was a bad console. The console itself sucks, but
Okay,
the
you
games were good.
I never said it was a
The
bad
tablet.
console. I just never owned it.
The tablet
I just
felt like a
I just
Fisher
got
Price
mine.
toy, but you know.
Did you
I
mean to
just
say
got
that
mine last year.
the Wii U?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now's the time because they're gonna skyrocket in price. I feel like
Well,
that it's moving up from
Yeah.
3DS and now it's gonna move into the Wii again.
I talked to
Mine was. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, Jesse.
I was just gonna say, yeah, mine was kind of a fun story because I went to a rummage sale and someone was selling it for like I think I paid like $30, $35
Beautiful.
for it,
Wow.
and
Nice.
then I think it was another $10 for all the Wii nunchucks and the Wii remote, and it came with like 2 or 3 games. Yeah, and I bought it for like $45 altogether.
Steal. That's
And
great. It's in good condition.
Yeah, it was.
Great.
It's in the box and everything. It was the Splatoon.
Wow.
I believe the Splatoon one.
Wow.
Wow. See, that's what I need to do. I just need to take a day, maybe during garage sale season in the fall, just drive around and see if someone's grandparents is just throwing out shit like this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I'm just-
but the thing is like there's only 3 games left on the or 4, I guess technically, but one sucks. That like haven't made it over to the Switch yet, right?
Yeah, and they probably never will, so that's why it's
No,
important.
Twilight Princess and Wind Waker will. I bet they would come out next year. I bet it's
Next
next
year?
year. Next year.
Next year?
2024, right?
2024.
Yeah, it's. I don't think anything else is really going to come out when Tears of the Kingdom comes
No.
out this year.
Well, the thing is, they want one Zelda product a year, and last year was the first time they haven't had a Zelda product since like 2000.
Blasphemy.
So
We all felt it. Really
Except
surprised they
last year
didn't
they had
do.
this
Go
thing.
ahead.
What was that called? The
Oh, I have it.
the Game and Watch,
Oh yeah.
which is like
I have
$20
it
on
because I buy too many
Walmart.com
things,
right now.
see? And I justified this purchase by making a YouTube short out of it.
There you go.
You didn't keep it out as a clock.
No. The battery isn't super great, but it's in good condition still. See, guess they
Yeah,
were.
they're on sale
the-
on Walmart for like $25.
No, they're really rare and cool to have.
Yes, they're
Mm.
rare and cool to have.
There's a Triforce on the back.
No comment.
It's the coolest
Uh,
thing.
I like it as a clock because it makes a very pleasant
Yeah.
beeping noise. But then I had to keep charging it, and then
Yeah,
I
that's the thing
stopped.
that got me about it too. I was like, this isn't practical at all. It's a
Mm-hmm.
cardboard stand.
No.
Like, what's happening?
Yeah, is it just a watch battery in it?
So the 2 Zelda games, Xenoblade Chronicles X and Star Fox Zero, are like the 4 games that either didn't make it over or didn't get a sequel. So, I mean, you could look at Yoshi's Woolly World, but we got Crafted World. You could look at the Kirby game, which that Kirby game's great, but it requires a second screen. So
Interesting to see how that plays out. I have it pre-ordered, so I'm excited for it.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess the Wii U is still worth having if you don't have a Switch, but
Or Wii.
or a Wii. Well, yeah.
Backwards compatibility Wii.
Ah,
Okay, we
I'll
can
be
move
going.
on now.
I'll be going.
I see what you did there.
I kind of wish you didn't.
Well, I appreciated that joke.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Man, I wish I could see what Jason Schreier was tweeting, but he blocked me, so I can't.
I can go. I can see.
Yeah.
I haven't
I
sought
can
him out in a long time. I hope he's
I can
doing.
I can see
Yeah,
because
I almost
I've
forgot
never
that name.
I've never crossed swords with that guy, so I am free of being blocked.
He didn't like what I had to say about crunch in video game industry, which wasn't a terrible thing, but I said nothing creative ever came out of a 9 to 5 job, and then he blocked me.
Oh. Someone's a little salty.
Let's see.
It's fine.
Strong
like it
public
anyway.
words from a Halo developer, mirroring what I've heard from many other Halo developers. Other problems, as we reported, include the tools and heavy reliance on contractors who had to be let go after 18 months.
Is this how they? It's so weird to me. So, like I was saying earlier, me and my friends were talking about Halo and the joke about it being bought or acquired by Sony in some way to be then built by Bungie. Completely unrealistic. But also, what is Microsoft's plan with Halo? And it's like that's when it's like, oh yeah. And then to that point, like to be relying on contractors for like what was like the online introduction for like everyone in our generation to gaming on the internet. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just crazy to see that's the state.
I think they got. I think with I don't know if they need to reset or reboot Halo, but I think they need to be done with Chief. Right. I think they need to tell other stories in the universe, and I think they need to let other studios take a crack at it. Right. Like I think someone like Machine Games would be really fun to see in the Halo universe. Like maybe not a Spartan, but like an ODST type situation, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe tell a story about like the Spartan ones, right? That we never really saw.
Yeah, there's plenty of novels
Yeah.
that have so much ridiculous lore. I mean, even Reach had a whole team of Spartans that each had their own characteristics and weapons, and they all were very cool. And you don't play as them. You play as, I think, the recruit,
No,
right?
yeah,
I think,
Noble 6.
yeah, you play as your own, who's like the middle, basically the chief analog.
Yeah.
But not. And that I remember thinking like, man, I just want to play as George with that machine gun.
Yeah.
And like the slow, like that to me would be a really cool, like a 5-player Halo game with very different classes. Like that would be interesting. You're right. Like the chief has 6 games.
Yeah.
You can get your fix.
Yeah. I just, plus like, I mean, I think they got to reset it or do something different anyway, because like, man, you look at something like the brand is just, you look at something like The Last of Us, right? Where like that brand is on the highest of highs right now with like, The Last of Us Part 2 being critically loved, the remake of the first game being great, the show seemingly being on the right path, right? It's like you're seeing that, and then you look at Halo Infinite and Master Cheeks from the show, right? Like it's just, I don't know. Halo, like you said, Dan, like it used to be the pinnacle. It was the pinnacle of gaming for me for a long time. Halo 3, and Gears of War never left my Xbox ever,
Right.
ever. And like, and I'm a Halo 4 defender. I love Halo 4, but like I don't know what you do with it now. I think that whole studio just needs, I mean, we know Bonnie Ross is gone, right? Like she said she had medical issues, that's why, or she had a medical emergency, that's why she left, but I'm wondering if she was forced out. They gave her job to 3 separate people within the company, right? Like all these people are leaving. Joe Staten is leaving to go back to Microsoft Publishing. I don't know what you do, man. This studio just seems so lost as a studio that's supposed to be your flagship studio with your flagship franchise. Like, I don't know, maybe Halo's just not it anymore, right? Like, I mean, to me, I still think the Coalition and Gears are like the most consistent studios in games at this point.
It's interesting to think about this in light of the recent layoffs and restructuring, because there's definitely a relation there. There's got to be so much happening that stops Halo from being, most of their games from like being what everyone kind of expecting out of Xbox.
And the thing is like Halo Infinite was good. I enjoyed Halo Infinite. Like I thought it played great. The weapons were
Mhm.
fun. The grappling hook was great. I mean, I know there's a lot of falling pieces around it, but like, I mean, like no co-op campaign at launch. Clearly didn't have a great roadmap for multiplayer stuff, right? But that campaign was fun, you know.
Mhm.
Does it
Yeah, I
have
think
co-op now? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it has online co-op.
yeah, and I think the thing is like with first person shooters in general, like everything's been done. Like I like we're seeing like Battlefields just not performing anymore because it's like they don't really know what to do exactly to make that different and feel new and energized. And I feel like, yeah, like this was the Halo Infinite was their attempt to try to do something, and yeah, it worked, but I don't know if that's going to work again. And then like Call of Duty is kind of had its ebbs and flows as far as like figuring what they want to do. um yeah, I feel like just the first person shooter genre as a whole is kind of struggling to do something different because it's almost all been done already. Like
Yeah.
like Fortnite's still going, but that's because it's got it's got all those things to bring like all ages into it, and the events and stuff like that. I mean, they really do a good job of making you want to play that game. Like like when holidays happen, they have events that happen in game, and or like when the season ends, they have some kind of event that that you can interact with, and like they they do a good job of making people want to come back to that game.
Mm-hmm.
All I had to do was add 3 Destiny characters to Fortnite, and I logged in and threw
I know.
like $40 at a game
Yep.
that I never play.
I know, I did too.
Yep.
I was like, I have to have Ikora.
I
Don't
did.
just.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
I have a Sparrow now. Good. Like now I can finally feel at home. And I kicked so many non-players, but I know the game threw bots at me. I know it.
Y'all are so weak.
Oh
He's
man,
so
I was-
weak.
dude! Ever since those characters came out, I haven't taken the stranger off.
Yeah,
And I play when I play with my nephews. They're like, "Oh, you got cool skins." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm never using another one.
Yeah.
This is the only one."
we're the adults that is like, you don't use the cool stuff you have. Like, yeah, I know. Like,
I know. It's funny. My nephew calls me an OG because like when Jesse and I were playing, like right when the game first came out, I have all these dances and skins from like the first 5 seasons of the game.
nice.
And my nephew's 10 and he's like super impressed because I have these skins. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a gold llama helmet. I don't know what you want from me.
And to that end, like there are so many things that could apply to Halo
Mhm.
that Fortnite's doing.
Mhm.
And I mean, Destiny has a form of it. It's a little more storytelling than like event like, but Halo also brought esports to consoles in that way. So like it's interesting to not see a ladder happening, like a tournament ladder happening like every month or something that
Mhm.
kind of piggybacks off of that legacy to have fun with it. And it's got to be the rumblings
Yeah.
that we're just not privy to.
Yeah. Hey Jesse, refresh your page. Your thing stopped recording.
Oh, okay.
Just hit refresh. It should be fine. Come back, Jesse, come back.
There we
Still
go.
not oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, Halo, like even like with all the properties that Microsoft owns now, too, right? Like you could totally put like a Doom skin in there for like a season pass, or whatever those weird polygonal bodysuits in Wolfenstein were, right? Like,
Oh, okay. We got there. I was like, what?
yeah,
Where?
yeah. I mean, yeah. They could do so many things with armor sets. Like, I don't know, put a perfect dark bodysuit in there. I don't care.
Yeah, to have all that and not find a way to like, because I would be really weirded out if Star Wars started showing up in Marvel movies and vice versa. But when video games do stuff like that, like we were talking about Bayonetta and Devil May Cry, we kind of want that, not
Mm.
to an annoying extent, but even like again, Destiny has like an Assassin's Creed. I don't like it, but it's an armor set.
Yeah.
We kind of love that because our games are playing to get Mario and Sonic. Like we're not as weirded out by that kind of stuff. So like to not see it happen when you have that many IPs under your umbrella as Microsoft,
Yeah.
Mhm.
weird.
I think
Because
it's
if you-
more like it's more like a comic book thing, for
Mhm.
me, for games where comic books you see crossovers like all the time. And I mean, Christ, I love the Turtles and the Ghostbusters crossover.
Yeah, they're also in Mortal Kombat, right? Aren't they?
Yeah.
Or Injustice?
I think so. Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
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 It's the only reason why I bought Injustice was to play as the Ninja Turtles for like 20 minutes. True story. It was on sale that week though.
hmm
It was like $20 and the season pass was like 15.
That's worth it.
I was like, yeah.
Like if you compare it to a dinner out,
Mhm.
that's totally a night out, or you get to play video games for a few hours.
I'll play Ninja Turtles for, an hour. It's fine.
Mhm.
Although Injustice is a pretty good fighting game too, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of interested how Halo looks in the future. I'm also kind of concerned, but guess that's how it goes when you mess up. I guess.
It goes when I think the pressure was on and they had a reaction, and now we're seeing the lack of
Mm-hmm.
movement because of it.
Yeah.
Just like earlier with the Ubisoft having a bad outing with Sparks of Hope, and there was pressure, was not met. Weirdness ensues.
Yeah. So good luck to everybody who lost their jobs. It sucks.
Yeah.
So
Well, the good thing is there's plenty of places. I feel like there's more and more places to go now.
yeah, especially where 343 is located, and
Mhm.
most of these people sound like they're on contract jobs anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see. Who else has a topic? Anybody want to talk about anything else? I mean, we could talk
I
about
played the
how
Forspoken demo.
Yeah. The updated version or the plain
I
version?
played it for the first time tonight to prepare for this podcast
Mm,
because I
Okay.
have a list of games that I'm excited for the year, but I'm also like, what's funny and fun right now? And that's the first thing that came to mind.
Okay.
how's
It's weird.
Forspoken?
Do
Tell us.
tell.
Tell
Do
us.
tell.
It's weird. The gameplay looks a lot more fluid than the gameplay is, like in the trailers and everything. Like how the game seems to pride itself on this forward motion, beautiful graphics. But it's got that thing where you hold up and hold a circle, and then you're
Mhm.
kind of doing all the cool moves that you see. So you're
Uh-huh.
not really like switching between stuff, unless I didn't get to a certain part. But like, it's called like magic parkour or something.
Mm.
Yeah, it's the equivalent to
Magic parkour.
what
Okay.
games is it that like where you like hold up an X? It's Assassin's Creed,
Like Assassin's
where like
Creed.
there's obstacles and
Yeah.
you just kind of go. That's
Yeah.
sort of what it felt like.
Yeah.
So they have that, which was weird, but I was like, okay, I'm just getting into it. But then the combat, I don't know if this is how it is in every combat scenario, but they like stopped. It felt like a PS3 game where they like stop you and then they pan the camera at your enemies, like, look at all the enemies you're about to fight. They're all here. Wow. And then like you then regain control and they give you a little tutorial prompt and tell you how to do a thing. And it didn't feel fluid. Like L2 was defensive support spells, R2 was attack spells, and then you had to switch the spells. And that bothered me because the spells in the trailer are all like, you see them all happening at once. And like she goes from ice to fire, like in a move. And I'm like, okay, I'm excited to experience this. And I kept having to pop into this menu to switch my spells.
Mhm.
And I didn't play for very long. And it is a demo, pre-release, not passing any major judgments. But my initial reaction was strange. and I wasn't sure if any of you had the chance to play it or look at it.
I played it a couple months ago when they released it the first time. I haven't played the patch version.
Okay.
There's a major patch for this demo yesterday or today, by the way.
Which is interesting also in and of itself.
But I 100% agree with you. The combat is not fluid at all. It's not fluid. Switching the powers is really strange, especially when the offensive and defensive powers are on 2 separate triggers and then 2 separate wheels. I did like the one power where you like kind of throw this kind of magic rock mash against
the burst move or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you have like a shield and then
yeah.
Yeah.
And then like I found this cottage that I explored and got a bunch of stuff in. Then I went out to this bridge and it did that whole pan over the bridge like, look at all these enemies on this bridge. Isn't this bridge cool? Look at all the people on the bridge. And then
I forgot, was there a lot of cringy dialogue in this demo?
There wasn't a lot when I played. There was a little bit, but there wasn't a lot. She has this by the way, she has this magic bracelet that talks to you in this really terrible British accent.
It comments on everything you do.
Yeah, literally everything. Even when you get hit by an enemy, it's like you shouldn't have got hit, or like I bet that hurt.
Do better. Yeah.
Wow, that would get tiring.
There's a toggle
quick.
though that more talking and less talking though. In the
I love how that's a thing now. I do.
Like if you have to put that in your game, maybe there's too much talking. Just
right.
Yeah.
Because doesn't what was that game? Was High on Life has that?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I think High on Life is a little bit different though, because I think that's a different audience than what Forspoken is going for. I feel like Forspoken's going for like the God of War, Horizon audience, like aiming that direction, whereas High on Life looks like, oh, I ate this whole bag of edibles and I don't know what to do for 3 days. I guess I'll play this game, you know? So
there was this intro, to answer your question, from the post-patch new demo perspective, where it felt like a early 2000s TV show that got you caught up on what the character's status was from last season. That's how they start the demo, and they preface the world with this.
Oh, they didn't start that in the demo I played.
I don't know if I needed the preface. I remember seeing the game's trailer and thinking I want to play it, and then the next thing the game does is like a really busted up version of an intro that I'm sure is much better fleshed out in the actual title. Because I'm playing the demo to not really like get into the story yet, right? But they did that, and I was like, I don't care right now. I will care in the future. I thought that was an interesting choice, and yeah, like the narrative from that moment, I was like, oh, this is a weird narrative that I'm not sure I actually want to play.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a demo, and that was like, it felt shoehorned in. Maybe that's why I got a little frustrated by it, because I wasn't there for it. It's like seemed like an unnecessary description.
Yeah, see, based off of what all I've been hearing about the people that have tried the demos, I'm at a point where I'm probably not going to buy this day one, and I'll just wait. LeRon, I see you have something to say. Okay, I'm going to wait till it's a Black Friday sale.
Okay, yeah.
This
I was gonna
game
say,
feels like a
just finish your
$20
thought.
game. Like that's when I'll buy it. Is when it's $20.
I am so glad somebody else said this, because like I'll be honest with you, I have never been impressed with this game since remember back when, like, you know, they first did a reveal of it and it was just a damn dragon like just blowing fire across the land and stuff, and I was like, okay, what is this? We thought it was the next Final Fantasy, and then come to find out, haha, it's not a Final Fantasy game and stuff like that. And then, you know, like I don't know, like the game Square, I don't know if I love Square, because like I also have like a really bad relationship with Square and Square Enix nowadays, you know, stuff like that. You know, it's the blowback from Kingdom Hearts #1. But you know, here's the thing about it. When Square is doing like Square Enix, I'm sorry, I keep calling them Square, it's just Square for short. Just think that when Square is doing Final Fantasy, they are bringing not just their A game, they're bringing out their triple, quadruple A game. But when they do something else, or especially something that's geared towards a Western audience, you know, per se, it just looks like a hot mess.
Feels like
either looks like a
pandering.
hot mess, it plays like a hot mess, or it sounds like a hot mess. And it's sounding like it's all three with what you guys have said with this demo. And
Yeah.
maybe that's kind of harsh for me to say because this is just a demo. It's not the finalized version of the game.
Right.
But don't
I
but like this is not this is not what we expect from Square Enix, to be honest with you. This is not what we expect, like
yeah.
like everyone's like, oh, the game looks so beautiful. I'm like, I don't see the beautiful because I see what's the I can see like the waffle weave, like like imprint of the graphics, when she's doing all these crazy movements. I'm like, this is not polished.
Yeah, it's the thing is though, I like the premise of the I like the idea of the game where like it's like a kid in King Arthur's court style. Like this girl gets sucked in from modern day into this, fantastical land and finds out that she has these magical powers because of something she finds, right? I think the premise of the game is cool. And like we don't have many games with a black female protagonist, which is also pretty cool, right?
Yep.
The magic, like the fluid magic combat looks cool when you watch it in trailers and stuff, but like, man, it's just
That's the thing that really, and again, I'm going to try to keep an open mind too as things move forward. I'm going to give the demo another shot for sure. But I remember thinking like, that looks so much fun to perform that stuff. And I didn't get that initial feedback from the game when I tried the demo. And that to me is unfortunately the selling point, is all that fancy stuff they show off. Like, oh, look at all these cool things you could do.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
they didn't show the radial menus. They didn't show all that other, and you get graded after every fight. And I got an E on my first one. I'm like, well, I didn't even get the chance to study. And you're already giving me quizzes. Like,
Wait, you get
Yeah.
like when
graded?
you play
This
Devil
is
May
like
Cry.
with Devil May Cry and
Yeah.
Bayonetta.
And at the very end, they're
Oh,
like
oh.
E or F
Yeah.
or S
Mhm.
is what I'm hoping to get
Mhm.
it one day. And A. But yeah, that was an interesting. So then that told me it wanted to be more of a hack and slash game, but the combat doesn't say that. So it's in a state, and
Yeah.
Well, and we've been burned so many times by demos that, like Anthem, for instance,
Yeah.
like we were, everyone was kind of hopeful that the Anthem demo was just, it was some issues. It was just a demo, wasn't going to reflect what, the full product was going to be. But then, yeah, it did end up reflecting what the whole product was going to be. And,
R.I.P. Javelins for Hire.
yeah.
Oh, was that y'all's show?
That was our 8
Yeah.
episode Anthem podcast.
Yep.
Hey, you made 8 episodes though.
We wanted to make sure that if it blew up, we were the first ones at the door,
you left your mark on the game, and the game left us.
Yeah.
I got all the comics.
That's awesome.
We did did we show them off on one of the episodes?
I don't know.
I think we did.
Because I think actually our last episode, I don't even know if the game came out.
No,
to be honest.
the last episode was we did 9 episodes, Jesse.
Yeah.
We had one the week the game came out, the one the week after with our initial impressions, and then week 9 we had new loot changes and making our way through.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, we did. I guess
it was a cool logo though.
Yeah.
I mean, everything about the game is cool. That's the thing and it's such a good point too, Jesse, because like you're right. The game had this look. You were like, I could be Iron Man, and the loot works like Destiny, and you can just pop in and out of your friends' games like that. Like, yeah, I want to play that.
Yeah.
And Anthem had an idea of that in there. But yeah, and it's an interesting thing to have happen because, again, I mean, No Man's Sky was that way. Now it's beyond anyone's wildest dreams of what that game's supposed to be. But this whole thing about the marketing around a game comes back around and sometimes reverse markets itself downwards.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing, is I think Forspoken's kind of the same way. Like, I'm interested in it. Like, I probably will still end up getting it, but But yeah, I mean, it could be the same thing where it's just Anthem like had a lot of great ideas. It just wasn't executed very well in the ways that it needed to continue to be something that people wanted, to have interest in. And it's possible this game could kind of end up being the same way, where you'll have people that will love it, but it's just not going to reach everyone that was initially interested in it.
Yeah. This also feels like the last idea from old Square Enix, right? Like from when they were trying to do. As a defender of Final Fantasy 15, this definitely feels like a thought from that era, right?
Yeah, it's a good call.
Whereas, I really think Square is actually doing a lot of great things, like Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Crisis Core was pretty decent. What they're doing with Octopath and some of the stuff they're releasing on Switch, right? Like I think they have a clear plan of what they want to do. Dragon Quest 12, right? They have a clear vision of what they want to do, because obviously they do, because they off their Western studios for like breadcrumbs and water. But this just Forspoken feels like a project that's been in development for too long, from an era that Square wants to forget.
Right. It's really good end cap to that whole thing.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think we're done here.
Great
job.
We've interneted once again.
Dan, thanks for joining us once again.
Thanks for having me.
You want to tell people where they can find you?
You can go to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/DanoMac. I do a podcast that's currently on like a baby hiatus for a while now. It's like a teenager at this point. You can find that on Anchor, anchor.fm/Dinosaur Machines, where we talk about a game in a roundtable style discussion format.
Yeah, honestly, I miss you guys. Like I've been listening to like your episodes lately.
Oh man, well we have a big backlog, so hopefully that.
Wait, what episode are you? What episode are y'all currently on right now?
We are at 153.
Nice.
So yeah, Oxenfree was our.
I forgot. Was it the Cult of the Lamb the last one?
No, it was Return to Monkey Island.
Yeah. Return to Monkey
Yes,
Island.
that was the
Okay, I
last one.
I know there's...
Which I got through the intro of. A lot of the podcast is me hearing what the game's about from Mark and Dave, because I can't put Destiny down for long enough to play the game sometimes.
It's fair.
And
I do that too.
It's gonna change after like tomorrow. I'm gonna take a tiny break.
Keep telling yourself
I keep
that.
telling you that too. I'm like, Steph, this is it. I'm gonna be on a break from Destiny. I'm gonna play like a Mario game, and then I don't do that.
Yeah. Hey, when are we going on a Terra raid?
That's a good question.
thing?
I have to beat the story, which I'm in the Elite Four now in Pokemon Scarlet or Violet.
Great. I would love your thoughts on the whole end game of the like entire thing, like the entire main line, because I was shockingly surprised how deep the Pokemon story was for Scarlet and Violet. I'm like, oh, okay.
I will. I'll let you know, because I've heard the same thing, and now I'm interested to see what happens.
Sounds like a Boss Rush Book Club episode.
I'm down.
I'm not.
I like talking.
Sorry.
Oh.
That's all right.
Mostly because I didn't play Pokemon and I don't care. No, the first one I'm really looking forward to is Hogwarts Legacy, which is the Magic game I'll be buying in February.
Yep.
But anyways, Dan, thanks for joining us. You're always welcome here.
Thank you for having me. It was nice to chat.
Love your comedy. Love the insight and conversations. It's always a good time. Jesse, good to see your face again too. 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So
make it 3.
Yeah. So you can find us at Boss Rush Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow us on all the places. You can subscribe to us on YouTube and or podcast services. If you want the show a week early, you can head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/BossRushMedia. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode of the Boss Rush Podcast. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Take care.
The Boss Rush Podcast is a product of Boss Rush Media, LLC, and is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio. This show is produced, written, and directed by me, Corey Dierig. My co-hosts are Stephanie Klimov, LeRon Dawkins, and Edward Varnell. You can find Stephanie at Klimov_author on Twitter and Instagram, as well as on the EXPcast. You can find LeRon at Exodus803 on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, and also on Crossroads, the video game podcast. You can find Edward at ThatRetroCode on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting Nintendo Powerline. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at IamCorianHD, and find me hosting Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast, and co-hosting Nintendo Powerline. Find the Boss Rush Podcast on all social media platforms at Boss Rush Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and the Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.